This morning, I've been seeing this post that keeps coming into my DMs, and it's a prayer from a guy named Marcus. And I've been on this journey this past year of really just growing in my faith and who I am as a person. And I believe I've been seeing these prayers and I just have not had a chance to look at them. But this morning I just stopped and I kept getting prayers every single day. So I was reading in my DMs that it said, hey, check out my story to see why I send out prayers every single day. And so finally, I was like, okay, this morning I'm going to take a second and I want to hear what Marcus' story was. And I just listened to it and it really just hit me that the Holy Spirit needed me to hear this. And that's why I've been having this tug to look a little bit more at what this was all about. And I feel I haven't fully told my story. There's many stories I need to tell, but there's one I haven't told, and I feel like this is the time. And I really can't thank Marcus enough for doing what he's doing and listening to God to take something he went through that was so traumatic. So 4 years to date, I was having some calf pain. Not anything like dramatic, but just a little bit of calf pain in my right leg more so. And I went to the doctor and told the doctor, some of the symptoms I was having in my leg. And she was like, oh, it's probably just maybe like a pulled muscle or something like that. And I just knew deep down that something needed to be looked at a little bit more. And so she got my D-dimer checked. And I got a phone call and they said, you need to go to the emergency room right away. And so I immediately went. The only place that they had was like a couple of days. It was like, I think they couldn't fit me in for like a couple of days, but one of them way out in Hopewell, Tri-Cities, was able to fit me in the very next day. So I get there, I have to sign into the emergency department, and I go to the back to get my legs looked at through a Doppler, and the guy was looking at both legs. And he said, you've got DVT. You've got tons of clots in both legs. And I just was like, oh my gosh, like what is DVT? What the heck is going on? Like it just hit me so hard. I was with my mom and my daughters were at home and I was, just like trying to figure out what was going on. So they immediately admitted me into the hospital and I get a CT scan. And I was waiting for the results and the doctor came in and said, you have 2 blood clots in your right lung. So I was immediately admitted into the hospital and they put compression stockings on me and they didn't have a bed open. So I stayed in the emergency room for a while. And I remember that all of a sudden the alarms started going off and I had nurses come rush in. And I think they just hit the button thinking like maybe it was just a faulty thing. And so they left the room and then all of a sudden the alarms start going off again. And the nurses come back in and they rushed me to the cardiac department where I had to stay for a week. And we don't know at this point, but we think that I might have had one in my heart. And I just remember just thinking like this was it. I remember coming home and I was so scared to take off my compression stockings because I thought that if I like moved my leg, if I did anything, that one of those blood clots was going to break off and it was going to kill me. And I have lived in that fear for over 4 years of my life. I've been so scared and it's caused major PTSD. And I've been on Eliquis for over 4 years because I was so scared. I found out that I do have a high factor 8. This past year, a couple months ago, like, I have just been going through so much, and I remember the pastor saying, there's going to be a lot of new in your life this year. And I finally came off Eliquis, and I've been off for about 2 months now, and I'm learning to have faith like I've never had before. So you see, because of what I went through a couple months ago, I believe that God's got me on a journey recently of just completely becoming vulnerable and sharing my heart, because I want to show you guys what true faith looks like. And it is something I have battled every day, and so much pain from the damage those clots did to my legs. But you would never be able to see it, because I live with a God who helps me every day to show up no matter what and to keep fighting, because so many people are out there who don't have faith. And I hope that this shows you that no matter what you go through, God never ever leaves your side. And I believe that I was supposed to see Marcus's video to share